Hello, everybody. I'm excited to connect with you all today because I want to talk about this topic. In here, as entrepreneurs, sometimes there's stigma around having a day job, having a side hustle, and I want to dispel all of that in this video. What's true about entrepreneurship is that our income often comes in waves, right? It often comes and goes, especially in the early years of our business. So it is 100% normal in the early years of your business for things to be in flux. Like some months you're flush with cash, other months you've got nothing. Totally normal, and normal for a lot of businesses in their startup years. So, when those things happen, the truth is that it can be extremely stressful, extremely stressful. And typically when we're stressed, we're under pressure, we're not as creative as we could be, et cetera, et cetera. And there's always the potential to create more income as an entrepreneur, right? Like there's always the potential to get more clients or create other income streams. And sometimes we want the opportunity to have more money without that pressure of the additional creation process, especially if we think it might take a little while to create something we really love, right? Or to like find that ideal client. So even when I was starting out, for instance, in my first year of entrepreneurship, I signed up for Uber. And to be honest, I got rejected, and I'm still not sure why. My driving record is excellent. But I signed up because having all of that pressure on me did not feel spacious as a creator. So instead, what I ended up doing was also taking some side gigs doing writing. I brought in money through this other company that I was running, et cetera, et cetera. But I gave myself opportunities to have more income in service of my self-care. I think one of the ways to check in with yourself is to say, hey, do I have any shame or guilt around going and getting a side hustle or going and getting a day job for part-time? And if you do have a shame or guilt, it might be an indication that there's a story there that you can clean up, right? Because typically if we're being driven by shame and guilt, we don't actually have the opportunity to choose what we want to do. So check in with yourself. If you're like, oh, actually, I feel like this side hustle, like I really just want to create something and own it and no emotional charge, but that's just what I want. That's one thing. If you're like, I cannot go and make this happen, huge emotional charge, guilt, shame, all these things, there's something to take a look at there, right? Because it gets to be normal and we get to say how it goes, right? And we get to choose to be empowered no matter what we choose. I think when it becomes disempowering is when we lose sight that job, whatever it is facilitating our growth as entrepreneurs, or if we let that pull all of our focus and we stop working on our businesses. Now, most likely, if you're serious about your business or you're serious about your vision, that's not going to happen. That's not a real risk. So if you notice you're buying into the story that will happen, if you're feeling guilt and shame around going and getting a side hustle when you really need one or when you just really want one, like there's something to look at there. A friend of mine, it's also easy to forget that sometimes side hustles can be really cool. Like a friend of mine needed to go get a side hustle, felt a lot of guilt and shame. And she was able to turn that around because she said, I'm going to find something that actually supports me in growing a coaching practice. And she went out and found the coolest side hustle that she absolutely loves. And it gave her the space and the energy and a lot of new information to actually go and create more freely in her coaching business. And it took a little more structure because of course the side hustle took more of her time. So she had to work on being more structured and getting more support. And she was able to do it. So sometimes the thing that's cool is that sometimes when you have less time, we really have to look at things in our business that generate the money, right? Like what is the money maker here? What is working? And then from that space, generating, focusing in on those things and growing those things until we can offer other services as well. So this can be going and getting a side hustle, whether it's Uber, a part-time job, working as a bartender. We can be victimized by that, or we can choose to be empowered by that. And of course, it is a choice. You can also choose and say hey, I'm going to work in this business for the next 2 months. And if I don't hit these numbers that I really want to make, I am going to go and do that. And I'm going to choose to make it a positive experience. Or you can even say hey, I notice I'm $5,000 in debt from investing in this. If my debt gets up to $10,000, I'm going to go and do that. But either way, not having it, there's a huge gift in knowing our numbers as entrepreneurs and simply as human beings. So when you know your numbers and you're able to put yourself at choice and actively choose what you want the numbers to be and how you want to adjust them with your own brilliance, your own business, your own side hustle, whatever, like you liberate yourself to actually choose and be a choice. So the point of this video is to say, one, the story that successful entrepreneurs don't have side hustles or never went through times where they needed to earn additional cash. It's a myth. It's a total myth. I remember even Gabby Bernstein, she had a mentor and she was like, I just want to leave my soul-sucking job. And he was like, stop it. Be grateful that you have this job while you're growing your empire. And of course, now she doesn't have a side hustle. Like she gets to do her thing full time, but she had to choose to be grateful for that other job that she had. And that it gave her the space to live in the city where she wanted to live and do the work she wanted to do and grow that business to the place that it felt really good for her to be. So, one, don't forget, like you can do whatever the hell you want in your life. And if you want to go get a side hustle and make some extra cash, fucking do it. Two, it's always a choice. Like you may choose, as coaches, we talk a lot about possibility. So from possibility, you might be like, I'm like gonna really go for it this month and I'm gonna teach workshops every day and I'm gonna find 20 new clients. Like do that, like let it light a fire under you. Great. And three, make sure you're clear because there's nothing more disempowering than not knowing what's going on with our numbers. And knowing our financials is a core part of self-care. And knowing your financials lets you choose how you want to take care of that part of your self-care, how you actively want to take care of it, not just like avoid looking at it or whatever. So I'll share one more quick story from my life just to normalize this whole process. As you guys know, I live in the Dominican Republic. I'm in a co-working space right now with a bunch of people behind me. And when I thought about moving here, one of the things that I knew would be possible is that I might lose clients, right? Like people might not want to work with me. My internet might not work. And in fact, for the first 3 months, it was spotty. So what I did is I actually lined up alternative work for myself. Like I reached out about taking more gigs, let there be light. I reached out about taking more gigs and more freelance writing things just in case if there was a slump in my business, I'd actually, my hair is crazy and I can't even, okay. Just in case if there was a slump in my business that like I'd be able to take care of myself. And for me, that felt really good and spacious. It didn't feel like I was giving up on my business. I chose not to see it as I'm not good enough. Instead, I saw it as an act of self-care and like an opportunity. Oh, I might get to write some cool freelance stories. Great. Like that's what I'm going to do. Oh, I might get to reconnect with some old editing friends of mine I haven't talked to in a while. Awesome. Like this is going to allow me to have the self-care financial piece in place as I grow my empire in the Dominican. And of course now like things are on track and I feel really good about where I'm at. But, I did have that in place. So I hope this video has served you. Please let me know what you heard for yourself. Let me know. I'd love to hear from other entrepreneurs what sort of side hustles you've taken and how you decided to take them and how that experience was for you. And I hope you all have a beautiful rest of the Thursday. Mwah.